Love versus marriage. Navigating the tension between authentic connection and social expectations. Love is one of the most profound and transformative experiences we can have as human beings. It forms the foundation of our deepest relationships, shapes our emotional well-being, and gives life meaning and purpose. Yet, when love is placed within the structure of marriage, a social, legal, and often cultural contract, complications can arise. While marriage can provide stability and societal recognition, it is important to remember that love is the real deal, while marriage is a contrivance. When the institution of marriage becomes more important than the authentic connection it is meant to honor, things can go awry, leading to suffering for all involved. This tension between love and marriage has long been a topic of debate, both philosophically and practically. History, literature, and modern data all show that when the focus shifts from love itself to the outward structures and expectations of marriage, the relationship can suffer. While marriage can serve as a beautiful and meaningful commitment between two people, it is essential to recognize that the health and strength of that commitment rely on love, genuine, evolving, and sometimes messy, not on the external trappings of a social institution. Love is an intrinsic, powerful force that has been the subject of poetry, philosophy, and art for millennia. It is a dynamic emotional experience that goes beyond mere affection or attraction. The philosopher Erich Fromm, in his famous work The Art of Loving, wrote that love is an act of will, requiring effort, attention, and the constant renewal of care. Love, according to Fromm, is not something that happens to us but something that we actively cultivate. It is a state of being that allows us to connect deeply with another person, to see them fully in their complexity and imperfection, and to grow together through life's challenges. Love, in its purest form, is not dependent on external validation or societal recognition. It thrives on intimacy, emotional connection, and shared values. Love allows for vulnerability and growth, and it is through love that we find some of life's greatest joys. This is the essence of what makes love the real deal. It is the beating heart of relationships and should be the guiding force behind any commitment. Marriage, by contrast, is a social construct. It is a legal and often religious framework designed to provide a structure for partnerships. Marriage can serve many important purposes. It offers legal protections, social recognition, and economic stability. Historically, marriage was often less about love and more about securing alliances, property, or family lineage. For much of human history, marriage was not a matter of personal choice but a social obligation, dictated by family, community, and economic considerations. In the modern world, the role of marriage has evolved. For many, it is a way to publicly declare love and commitment, to build a family, and to create a shared life with a partner. But as marriage has become more tied to love in recent centuries, it has also become a source of tension. The expectation that love and marriage must always go hand in hand creates a complicated dynamic, especially when the institution of marriage is prioritized over the relationship itself. One of the main problems arises when people begin to treat marriage, the contrivance, as more important than love, the real deal. In some cases, the social pressures surrounding marriage, such as the desire for public validation or the need to conform to cultural norms, can eclipse the deeper emotional and psychological needs of the partners involved. This can lead to situations where the marriage becomes a performance, an obligation to maintain appearances, rather than a genuine partnership rooted in love and mutual respect. The tension between love and marriage becomes apparent when societal expectations or legal structures overshadow the emotional connection between partners. For example, in many cultures, marriage is seen as a life milestone that must be achieved, and there is immense pressure on individuals to marry by a certain age. This can lead people to prioritize finding a spouse over cultivating a deep, meaningful connection, resulting in marriages that are more about fulfilling a social obligation than about love. The focus on marriage as a societal benchmark also leads to the romanticization of the wedding ceremony itself. Weddings, in many cultures, have become grand spectacles, with an emphasis on the event rather than the relationship it symbolizes. According to a 2019 study by the Knot, the average cost of a wedding in the U.S. was nearly $34,000. For many couples, the financial and emotional stress of planning a wedding can detract from the true purpose of the marriage, the commitment to love and support one another through life's ups and downs. Additionally, once a couple is married, societal expectations about what a successful marriage looks like can create unnecessary pressure. Many people feel compelled to stay in unhealthy or unfulfilling marriages because of the stigma surrounding divorce or the fear of societal judgment. Yet, when marriage is valued more highly than love, individuals may remain trapped in relationships that no longer serve their emotional or psychological well-being. This dynamic often leads to suffering, as individuals sacrifice their personal happiness and growth for the sake of maintaining the appearance of a successful marriage. Throughout history, the institution of marriage has taken on many forms, and its relationship to love has evolved. In ancient times, marriage was often an economic or political arrangement, with little emphasis on romantic love. For instance, in ancient Rome, marriage was primarily a legal contract aimed at securing alliances and property rights. Romantic love, if it existed, was often found outside of marriage. In the Middle Ages, the concept of courtly love emerged, in which romantic love was idealized but was often separate from marriage. Marriage was still primarily seen as a duty or obligation, while passionate love was something to be experienced in secret or outside the bounds of societal expectations. It wasn't until the 18th and 19th centuries, with the rise of the Romantic movement in Europe, that love began to be seen as central to marriage. Even then, marriage was often shaped by societal expectations rather than individual desire. In modern times, marriage has become more closely tied to love, but the tension between the institution and the emotional reality remains. In many societies, marriage is still seen as a marker of success, and individuals who remain unmarried or divorce are often judged harshly. However, as marriage rates decline and divorce rates rise, it is clear that the institution of marriage is struggling to keep pace with the changing expectations and needs of individuals. In the United States, for example, the divorce rate has hovered around 40–50% for decades, indicating that many people are finding it difficult to sustain the balance between love and marriage. The lesson is clear. When the contrivance of marriage becomes more important than the love it is meant to honor, everyone suffers. Love is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, and it must take precedence over the social or legal expectations surrounding marriage. While marriage can be a beautiful and fulfilling institution, it is ultimately a structure that should serve love, not the other way around. Couples should focus on cultivating love, trust, and mutual respect as the real substance of their relationship. Marriage, if chosen, should be seen as a reflection of that love, not as a societal obligation or a marker of success. By prioritizing love over the trappings of marriage, individuals can create relationships that are not only sustainable but also deeply fulfilling. In the words of the poet Rainer Maria Rilke, love consists in this, that two solitudes protect and touch and greet each other. Let love be the real deal, and let marriage, if it is part of the journey, be a reflection of that profound connection, not the goal itself.